Hi, I'm Chris. Welcome to Cavaletto Studios. In today's foam roller class, we will be using a foam roller, long or short is fine, and a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, a book will work as well. If you enjoy this class, be sure to like and subscribe below. Let's get started. Today we're going to start with the glutes, but let's check in and see what's going on with those glutes. So just start nice and tall. We're going to pull that right knee into the chest, give it a hug, and then bring that foot across the left thigh. Place that foot flat on the floor. We're going to wrap the left arm around that right knee. Sit tall as you can and just pull that knee in. Little twist here. We're focusing on that glute, just checking in, feeling if it's how tight it might be, if there's any tension in that hip or in that low back, and just breathe into it and then exhale. Excellent. Then we're going to release. Simple as that. Now you're going to use your roller to start with, and we're going to bend the knees. We're going to sit up on the roller, and we're starting on that right glute that we just checked in with that stretch. So options. I got a block here. We're going to use the block today just to give ourselves a little leverage. I'm going to put my hand on that yoga block. If you don't have a block, a book will work just fine. Shift your body onto that right butt cheek, and I want you to use those legs to roll that whole glute to the top and the bottom, back and forth. So this is where you're looking for what we call speed bumps. If you find a speed bump, which is a trigger point, go slowly over it. We don't want to tear through it going super fast, back up and down. Just keep it slow and controlled. And breathing. Now, if this bothers your wrist, another option is to drop to your elbow. And you can still get in nice and deep into that glute, the gluteus muscles. A couple more rolls. Start to tilt your body a little bit more to the right, going up on the outside edge of that glute, and then tilt your knees up so you're going along the back side of that right glute. Couple more. I'm going to pop back up onto my arm on that roller, or on the block, excuse me. You can even move that leg. Try moving the leg in and out as you're sitting, pausing on that roller. Just drop the knee in and out. Then we're going to go a little deeper into that glute. So you're going to cross the right ankle over the left thigh and roll again. And you are welcome again to be on the elbow on that block, or popped up. If you do not have a block or a book and you don't want to use the roller, excuse me, the block, got to use the roller, still you can use your hand on the floor. Just options today that I'm giving you to make what it works for you. Again, to the top and to the bottom of that glute. Now, we are just about done. If you find a trigger point, I'm going to have you all test this with me. Find the middle of the glute, the medius part, and then bring that knee up and down like you're flapping a wing. Massage it, and now rock with that knee as it goes open and closed. Move the whole body with it. And then release the leg, straighten it out. Slide off the front of your roller and straighten out both legs. Now we're going to go back to that very first stretch we did. We're going to pull the knee into the chest, cross it over that thigh. Bring your left arm around, lift tall. Reach your right arm behind and stretch. Now you might feel it somewhere different this time. Maybe you can get a little deeper stretch. Flex your left foot as well. Lengthen through the spine and then nice twist. Feeling that stretch through the glute. Maybe you use both arms and hug that knee in nice and tight. You never force the stretch, but we want to just lengthen that tissue. So as we're holding it, you might feel some sensations down in that glute tissue because it's pulling in nutrients and hydration. And that is what we want because we increase flexibility. Take another deep breath here. Yes, we want to hold the stretch this long. It's super important. And release. Shake it out. You might feel some blood flowing. We're going to go to the other side. So you're sitting tall. Bend the left knee. Hug it in. Bring the foot across, the foot flat. Hold on to the knee. Left hand can go behind you for support and lift and maybe twist towards that knee. flex your right foot. Just check in. Notice what's going on that side. Maybe your right hip glute was tighter, and you're feeling just a little bit of stretch here. Each side's going to be a little different. Now we're going to release it, and we're going to pop ourselves back up on that roller. I'm going to flip around just so I can continue to look at you and see your faces. And again, using that block if needed. Bringing the block behind and rolling from the top to the bottom of that glute, going slow and controlled. Slow and controlled. All the way. Finding any roadblocks, speed bumps in those glute muscles. Now we're going to pause and then bring that leg up and down, flapping it, rolling with it. Maybe dropping into the elbow and rolling a little bit. Try different angles. Try different things that work for you. If you roll in a certain area, like say you dropped your elbow and you find a trigger point that's just too intense, I want you to move off. You don't want to have pain. You just want to feel like a nice deep tissue massage. That is our goal here. It's called self-myofascial release, and we're getting into that fascia tissue. And then we're going to pause in the middle, take that left ankle, cross it over the right thigh. Make sure that left shoulder is relaxed. If you're on the block and you tend to go up here like I am, maybe you drop to the floor. And then we roll that whole glute again, all the way to the top and the bottom. Maybe you go onto the elbow. Try out different things. Now find the middle and bring that knee up and down. And then roll that whole body with that knee. Push the knee down, pull it up, rock and roll. We're going side to side here. One more roll. Now we're going to take that leg, we're going to straighten it out, and we're going to slide off the roller in front of it. Both legs go straight, and you're going to bend that left knee in, pull it across, push the foot flat on the floor, lift the spine as you wrap our right arm around that knee. Left arm can go back. So you nice stretch, flex that right foot again. So again, feel that stretch. Maybe you hug the knee in with both arms. Maybe you want your hand on the floor. You get options here, right? We get a choice. The choice is to take care of your body. That's what you're doing here today. Fantastic job. Stretching out that glute. Attaches all up into the hip. Can affect our back, how the hips rotate when we walk. One more breath in and out. Now we're going to release. We're going to shake it out. This next part we're going to is hamstrings. So we're going to roll the hamstrings, but what we're going to do is we're doing it a little different today. We're going to use the block and the roller. So you're going to lift yourself to the roller, but I want you to scoot it to the side. So I'm going to use my, I'm going to start rolling my right quad hamstring first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide all the way to the left side of my foam roller. So my left leg, right leg, excuse me, you can kind of see my left, right, left, pick a leg, get the leg on the roller. Other leg is up for support. And I'm using my left leg in the block to roll myself forward and back on the back of that hamstring. Now, if you want to go a little deeper, you can cross the leg so that left leg goes over. You can even use 2 blocks behind you if it's hard to reach the floor. You can use 1 block behind you like this, and I'm just rolling myself forward and back. Just a little movements forward and back. Now I want you to stop towards the top of the hamstring and rock your body side to side, side to side, and then forward and back again, massaging out. So this left leg is not even on the roller, it's just resting on top. If that's too intense, keep that leg on the floor. You can also go to your knuckles on the block or the floor. And then you're going to scoot further back. Maybe you need to move that block a little further so you can slide that roller towards the bottom part. So moving to the back of the hamstring above the knee. Never go behind the knee. We want to stay above that knee, forward and back. Right in the middle of that bottom part, rock your body side to side. So it takes a little bit of upper body strength. You can try laying on the floor. Might not get as much pressure, but you can still get a little bit of hamstring going on there. So then you're going to take your left foot, place it back on the floor, and I want you to just draw circles with your body, with the leg and the body moving forward and back and tilting. Notice I'm rotating my foot to the left and rotating it to the right. Massaging in a big circle on that hamstring. Now I want you to reverse direction, go up one side and down the opposite side. Circle, circle. Almost done there. And then try to go a little bit lower. So now you're going to the top of that hamstring, all the way down to the knee, and then up. And then up and down the center. And then go ahead and sit behind the roller. Go and release. Might have to massage the wrists a little bit if you were using them a lot. Go ahead and take that roller to the side. And I'm going to have you take your left ankle under the right knee. So the right leg, the one that you just were foam rolling, is the straight leg. Lift up tall and start to hinge forward. Let your foot relax. So you're just leaning into it. So you're stretching out. The knee is slightly bent, so you're stretching out that hamstring. Maybe try to bring your knee and your nose close together. And now breathe. Try to shift your body a little bit to one side and then back across the leg to the other. And notice the change in that hamstring where it's lengthening. So you want to hold that stretch again, 10 minimum seconds. Longer if possible, 20 to 30. And you're wanting the muscle, that tissue, to relax. So maybe you want to move your foot a little bit. That can help. And then we're going to walk it up. And then shake it out. Shake, shake, shake. We get to do the other side. So now you're going to take that roller and you're going to sit on the other edge of it. All right, so now I'm going to sit on my right edge of my roller. I'm using my block. So you're going to pop yourself up on that roller and scoot all the way to the right edge. So if you don't have a long roller, you can use a short roller on this part. So the back of my hamstring, my left leg is on that roller. I'm using my block to give myself a little height from the floor. And again, your arm length depends on sometimes people have a little bit shorter arms, and you might be really challenging to get back there and get any pressure on that roller. So that's where those blocks come in great. So right foot is on the floor for balance, and you're rolling yourself back and forth. Now you might feel super awkward and feel like falling off the roller. That's all right. Just think of it. Bonus, you get a little bit of upper body strength while you're at it. Bonus little work in the workout here. So you're rolling back and forth. You can even go side to side. Now, you can take that right leg, you can cross it. You can even place that left heel on the floor and pump it like a gas pedal, and it's still massaging. My whole leg is moving because I'm pumping through that leg for the ankle. Now, I'm going to move up the thigh a little bit lower, so I'm above the knee, but I'm going back and forth, and I'm crossing. Now, does one thigh, hamstring, do you feel it more than the other? That's the tricky part, knowing what's going on with each leg. Sometimes it's surprising. Like I'm actually not surprised. My left hamstring is definitely tighter than my right. So we have to look in and tune into our bodies. It talks to us. It communicates to us on what we need to know. Make sure you're going side to side, rocking it. Bringing that foot back to the floor. We're going to go towards the bottom and the top. Now we're going to draw those big circles like we did before. So you're tilting your foot in to the right and then rotating out as you go up, in and out, up and down one side. All the way. All the way. So I'm on the edge of the roller for a reason, because if I was more in the middle, it'd be a little bit harder to maneuver. I have a little bit more leverage because the roller's not hitting my other leg. I can get it in there. Now I want you to do one more circle, and we're going to go the other direction. So circle the other way, all the way around. Circle, circle. Now you might find a spot, maybe more on the inner thigh, maybe more towards the outside. And then we're going to sit behind that roller. Go ahead and set it to the side because we want to stretch that hamstring. So make those adjustments. So the leg you just rolled, the left leg is straight. You're going to tuck your right ankle under the knee. Sit up nice and tall. Foot is relaxed and start to lean and hinge forward into it. Feeling that stretch through the back of that left leg. Maybe bring your nose towards your knee. Relax your shoulders and just breathe here. Maybe wiggle your foot. Now this is where we're going to start to shift the body. Maybe shift it slightly to the right and then slightly to the left. Notice where you start to feel that tension pulling up. So if you pull to one side or the other, you might feel the change in the back of the thigh. It's normal. That's what happens. Different parts of the body, the tissue gets tight depending on how we walk, our gait. And then release, and we're going to roll it all the way up. And give it a shake, shake. Now, you can place your block to the side. Now, we did the back of the legs. We're going to move to the inner thigh now. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring the roller next to the body, and we're going to come all the way down, actually onto our bellies. So you're going to lay on your belly. You can even lay all the way down to your arm, under your head. Now what you're going to do is you're going to pretend like, if you're laying in bed, there's a pillow, and you would bend the knee and place your knee on the roller like it's a pillow. But I want the roller above the knee, so it's on the inner thigh. We're not going onto the knee joint, so you're above it. My foot is resting on top of the roller as well. And you can just stay here. So I'm on my belly, and now I'm on my side. And what I want you to do is straighten and bend that knee. Straighten and bend. Now, if this is super painful, just let it rest with the foot on it, or you can let it rest with the foot on the floor. If it bothers it to straighten and bend, find yourself a massage therapist to work out that tissue, get it to release. Maybe you got some inner thigh tightness going on that gracilis or adductor muscles. Now we're going to move up the inner thigh. So I'm going to place my foot on the floor, lift my leg off the roller, and I move the roller up my inner thigh like an inch, and then I'm going to bend and straighten again. Listen to the body. Now that I'm further up, I can actually start to add some movement, rolling that roller on the inner thigh towards the knee and up. It can be a little sensitive. So we have some smaller muscle groups in here. And it can get super tight because it can rotate those, when the muscles in that tissue get tight, it can rotate our hips out of alignment. I'm going to move that roller up the thigh some more. I'm going to bend and straighten, checking in with what's going on. And then I'm going to move that roller. I'm using my hand to support, especially if there's a lot of tension in there or sensitivity. Trying to rest my foot on the floor and just rolling. And you can continue to bend and straighten. So there's a couple options here. We're going to roll it up a little bit more. So we're getting up to the inner thigh. Inner thigh. And then bend and straighten. So as I bend and straighten, and then I keep it straight, and then what I'm doing is I'm rotating. I'm moving my body so I go towards my belly and then towards my side and towards my belly. So that way that roller will move up and down the inner thigh. And I want you to just go as far up that inner thigh as you feel comfortable. And again, you might have some tender spots when you get maybe towards the upper part or even mostly down by the knee, again, depending on the person. So you're going to roll forward and back again. Feeling that inner thigh. Try not to clench your jaw if you are, your teeth, And then when we're done, we're gonna move off of that roller, push ourselves up. Now we wanna stretch that inner thigh. So we're gonna come up to all fours and bring your hands on top of the roller. I'm gonna turn a little bit side so make sure you can see. So hands on the roller for support. Take that same leg out to the side that you were just rolling. Place that foot on the floor, and then as the foot that leg lengthens and straightens and that foot pushes into the floor, you want to feel that inner thigh. Start to shift your hips back towards your back here, just enough to start to stretch that inner thigh. Now if it's hard on the hands, feel free to go to your elbows and rest on that roller, and you can pull the toes up and down, stretching out that inner thigh. And you might be getting into those hamstrings a little more too. Place that foot back on the floor and just breathe here. Relax the shoulders. Shift the hips back a little bit more. Maybe getting into those hip flexors, not just inner thigh, but hamstrings. And then you're going to release. Excellent. We are going to the other leg. So let's do the inner thigh on the other leg. So you're going to lay all the way down onto your side or towards your belly. I'm bringing my right knee up this time. So I am on the right knee, above the knee, on the inner thigh, not on the knee, but above it. And you're going to straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. And then a little roll forward and back. How is this one compared to the other one? Always got to ask ourselves that, just so we're tuned into the body, tuned into what's going on. Good, place the foot down, move that roller up an inch, straighten and bend. And roll forward and back. So you're rolling towards the belly and then towards the side. And straighten and bend. So one of the things to remember is if it's super painful, take more breaks, drink water. You want to stay hydrated. This is hydrating the tissue. And then come back to it later. Stretch extra, and that will help take that pain, that tension away. Move it up the thigh, straighten and bend. And then roll forward and back. And then up again, straighten and bend. Remember that this can change from day to day, depending on your activity level, what you've done. If you've gone hiking or up and down stairs or just been sitting for a long period of time. And then roll forward and back. As high up as you can comfortably go. And then when we're done, we're going to take that leg off. We're going to come all the way up. Now we want to stretch that inner thigh. So bring that roller out, hands and knees, bring the foot out to the side. Now, foot is flat and hinge back enough so you can start, make adjustments with the hip. Maybe drop the hip to the left, feel that inner thigh starting to stretch. Drop the hip backwards, maybe drop to the elbows, and then lift and push the toe down, up and down. Noticing what's going on in that inner thigh. Shift the hips back. And breathe. Relax your shoulders. And then release. Let's take a child's pose. So separate your knees, feet together. Turn and then rest for a moment. Take a deep breath. And then slowly come up. All right, now we have done the back of the thighs and the inner thighs. So now we're going to move to the front of the thighs. We are working our way around. So we are going to bring our elbows to the floor, the roller right above the knees. All right, and then we're going to have the roller right above the knees, elbows on the floor, a little bit wider than the shoulders, and move your body gently forward and back 1 inch. Try to relax here. Forward and back. Now you're going to walk your elbows back and move that roller forward and back another inch. Up and down. And you're doing this a lot, right? You want to be rolling those quads, as, at least whenever you can. Do them often. So good for the body to roll those quads. Keep moving up the thighs. Same pattern. So with the hamstrings, we started at the top and worked our way to the knee. So in the inner thigh, we started at the knee, worked our way up, and in the hamstrings, or quads, we are working from the knees up. And down. But when we do our last portion of the upper leg, we will start just like we did from the hamstrings, from the top down. So we have a little pattern going on here. So I'm still walking my elbows back 1 inch, and I'm moving the roller forward and back on my thighs 1 inch. Forward and back. And you're breathing. I know it takes time. And if you need a break, if it's super painful, take a child's pose. You can always break. Now you're going to walk your elbows forward. Use your core. It's a little bonus again. Another little bonus of that core working. Pull yourself forward till you get back to the top of the knees. Now I want you to slide yourself backwards again. Engage that core. Don't go into that low back towards the top. And then pull yourself forward again. And then tuck your toes. Slide off the back of the roller. We're taking a child's pose. Separate your knees. Feet together. Arms in front on that roller and slide down. When you get here, I want you to shift your body side to side. And as you're shifting, rotate through your hips so you even feel the stretch, not only in the quads, but the inner thighs. The areas that we just rolled, side to side. Good. And then you're going to come back up. We're going to roll the quads one more time because I always roll the quads twice. It always feels better the second time around. Even if it's just a smidge, roll the quads twice. So good for it. We're going to go back above the knees. Make those adjustments. Bring those arms out so you have support. Engage that core. So remember, the more you roll like this also, it's going to strengthen your core. And now we're going to rock and roll side to side. Then you're going to pause and you're going to roll forward and back 1 inch, maybe like 4 to 6 times. And then side to side one more time. And hopefully it gets a little easier each time. That's my goal for you, that this will always get a little easier. Forward and back 1 inch. Good. Now you're going to walk your elbows back so the roller moves up your thigh 1 inch. I'm going to roll off my mat if I don't do it that way. There we go. So just make adjustments where you need to. We're going forward and back. I've moved that roller up the thigh about 1 inch. And then I'm going to rock and roll side to side. Now, notice how I'm putting my toes down? Yeah, that's because it's a little tender here for me. Today, I was a little more active yesterday, and I'm feeling it today. So a little forward and back, and a little side to side again. So the goal here, we want to relax and breathe as much as possible. Walk the elbows back 1 inch, forward and back up those thighs, up and down. Think about what's going on in those thighs. You're hydrating the tissue. This is a good thing. This is what we want. And then side to side. That fascia tissue, it's getting nutrients and oxygen. I know, they're not probably happy with you at this moment, but they will be later. Good. Up the top. So you keep moving your way forward and back and then side to side. A couple times each. Try not to clench your jaw while we're doing this. No clenching of the jaw. Once you get to the top, you can slide off the back. Maybe you're already off the back. We're going to take our child's pose one more time. Slide on down. Shift those hips side to side. Feel the rotation even of the hips, the inner thigh. Stretching out the back. Take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. And come on up. All right, so now we're gonna move on to IT band. Don't cringe. I know you're probably cringing. IT band, yeah. IT band can be a little challenging. So that's the outside of the thigh, and it goes from the hip down towards the knee. Again, we're not gonna hit that knee joint. You might want your block again. So you're going to go, so remember, we're starting at the top now instead of the knee. So you're top of the hip. You're gonna drop onto your elbow on that block. Feel free to be on the floor if you are okay with that. Either way, go with what's comfortable with your shoulder. The bottom leg that's on the roller is gonna be straight, and the top leg is in front and it's bent. So this is gonna be our control, and we can also push into that floor with that foot that's bent and take pressure off the roller if it's too painful. Because IT band can be super sensitive. All right, so my hand, other hand, both hands on the floor, one elbow, one hand. I'm going to draw my body forward to the top of my mat so that roller goes down my whole thigh to the top of the knee, not on the knee, and then I'm pushing myself back. Guess what? We're also working core and obliques here. So engage that core, work those obliques. Think about your breath. Try not to clench your teeth. Flex that bottom foot all the way up. Now we're gonna draw circles. So drop your hips backwards. So almost like you're going to your glute or your hamstring. Draw down. Draw your body forward and go up towards the top of your mat so the roller moves down, and then roll back as you go up. So you're drawing a big circle on the outside of your leg. So I'm circling backwards as I go up. I draw forward as I go down. I'm gonna do that one more time, and then we're reversing direction. Now I'm gonna go the other way. So I'm staying forward, going up, rotating back as I go down. Rotate. We don't have to do a ton of these. And pause. Go ahead and come all the way up. Bring that foot across. I want you to sit on that same butt cheek where you just were, that same IT band. Again, use your block if needed for your hand or your hand, and we're going to bring that leg across the thigh. So the left ankle across that right thigh, the side you were on, and we're going to roll that glute. Yes, we are rolling the glute again. So really loosening up the hips and the hamstring, get all the way to the bottom of that. Good, of that glute. Now take that leg, uncross it, we're gonna straighten it out, go to the top of the hip, the glute, top of the glute and the hip, and then draw yourself up the mat so that roller goes all the way to your hamstring again. So you're hitting the hamstring, and then you're going to the top of that glute. And then you're gonna hit that hamstring again, and you're leaning over to that left, and then all the way back down. Now let your foot fall open all the way to the side. Draw it up. My foot won't stay sideways. How about yours? Nope. And then back one more time. And then up. Excellent. Now we're gonna sit in front of that roller. Take a little break here. Grab a drink of water. You're gonna lay on your back because we wanna stretch that hamstring, or the, IT band, little of the hamstring and the glute. So we're gonna lay on our back, we're gonna hug that knee into the chest that we just worked. Now take your right hand on that knee, and I want you to just pull it across the body. So not only the glute, IT band, then I want you to take that leg and straighten it out. Oh look, I can even put it on the wall. If you're close to a wall, put it on the wall. I'll scoot over. You can hold on to the outside edge, or you can even hold your toe. And you're gonna stretch it across. Maybe you have a strap, you can put a strap. Try to keep your left shoulder on the floor. Maybe you just hold on to the shin, and you can even keep the knee bent if that's more alignment with your body, if that feels better. Either is fine. I'm hitting myself in the head with the roller. Oh, you can also take the roller, and you can just let your foot rest on the roller out in front, out to the side. That's another option. And you're breathing, just feeling that stretch. Now we're gonna take that knee, we're gonna bend it, and we're gonna slide onto our back, and let's hug both knees into the chest and give them a rock. Side to side. Let's roll all the way up. All right, don't panic. We still got to do the other side. I know. And grab a drink of water. Now that you have your drink of water, we're going to transition to the other IT band. So grabbing your block, bringing it behind you, you're going to lift yourself. So if we're going to the top of the hip, which is basically right below the butt cheek, you're going to drop to your elbow either on the block or the floor. Again, whatever feels good to you. That bottom leg is straight. Take that top leg, bring it in front, put the foot on the floor. This is support, so if this is too much, now you're on the right side. Might be a little different than the left. You're going to draw your body up towards the mat, top of the mat, so the roller goes down your outside of your thigh towards your knee, and then push yourself back up. Again, maybe you're on the, I prefer the floor, just I have a little more range of motion I can get, a little more control. If it's too intense, put more weight into the bent knee, onto that foot. So once you've gone up and down that outside of that thigh a couple times, we're going to start to do those circles. You're going to drop the body backwards, draw the body up, lean forward slightly as you draw back down. Big circles. Circle, circle. And we're getting into that, a little bit of that, maybe that attachment into that hamstring on the back as we drop backwards. And then more into the IT band and the outside edge of that quad as we lean forward. So one more loop around, and we're going to reverse direction. So you stay forward and then slide back down the thigh and then lean back as you go up. 2 more times around on that thigh. Again, if it's super painful, throw a blanket. You can also throw a towel on your roller. And then we're going to come up. We're going to shift onto our glutes. So again, use a block if you need it. Blocks are so handy. Or a book, if you got a book. Lean onto that right butt cheek, and you're going to roll to the bottom of it and to the top. But let's take that right leg, ankle, cross it over the left thigh, and roll that whole area again. All the way to the top and the bottom. Now one last time, when you get to the top, uncross that leg and straighten it out. Maybe drop, I'm going to drop to my elbow now. I'm going all the way to the glute, bottom of the glute. No. So I hit the back of that leg, and then I slide to the top of that butt cheek. Now my foot's falling open, so I'm on the edge of my foot as I drag it up. My foot tends to rotate up a little bit here, especially when you get over that bone right there at the bottom, towards the bottom of the glute, to that top of that leg bone. We're not going to get into bones and names and all that here, because it's all about this fascia tissue here and our muscles and those glutes and hamstrings. Last one. And then we're going to slide forward and off that roller. Now bring the roller to the opposite side. We're going to lay on our backs, hug the knees into the chest, and give it a squeeze and a rock side to side. Now you're going to let your left leg go straight and hug that right knee. Now, that right knee, you're going to hold on to it with your left hand, start to pull it across the body. So you're getting that glute stretch, and we're getting into that IT band, keeping that right shoulder down on the ground. You want this to feel good. Now, option, you can straighten out that leg. Let it rest maybe on the roller. You can put it on the wall if you're close to a wall. You can hold that toe. And just breathe here. Maybe I have my hand on the roller and I'm holding my toe or off of it. And just breathe. Feel that nice stretch. One more breath. And then we're going to hug the knee into the chest. Just play around with it. Give it a rock side to side. Massage out the back. Draw circles with those knees. And then reverse direction. And then bring those feet back to the floor. We're going to use a roller. We're going to sit ourselves up so we can move that roller behind our backs. So now we're done with the hips. But let's get the upper back, because sometimes that's so tight, it can affect our hips. So we're going to lay back on the upper back, and I want you to find the middle of the shoulder blades. Not too low. Fingertips behind the ears, and I want you to just feel how the breath feels when you breathe in and out, lengthening through the neck, supporting the head. Feel that stretch. Now, if you breathe in and you are like catching your breath, you're probably too low on the rib cage, so you want to go a little higher. If you're too high and you just feel it feels uncomfortable on the shoulders, go a little bit lower. Find your sweet spot, I like to call it. Feet flat, open up the head and the neck and the chest, you're lengthening. Now start to lift your upper body, look between your knees, and then open back up, curving through the upper back. Not too big of a movement. Hips stay on the floor. Open it back up again. Checking in with your range of motion. Now we're going to roll the upper back. So we're going to lift the hips. You're going to roll to the shoulders and then towards the middle of the back. Now I usually recommend about where the belly button would meet in the middle of the back. If you are rolling your low back, that is totally up to you. I would make sure with your doctor that you are okay to roll your back. If you have bulging disc, degenerative disc, slip disc, do not recommend rolling those areas at all. Highly, highly do not recommend it. It can cause you pain, so don't go there. One more roll. And then we're going to roll back to where we started, lower those hips. You're going to draw your hips slightly to the right. So you go into the right shoulder blade, and then you're going to move your body up and down the mat, forward and back, like north and south, just to massage that shoulder blade area. Now, if you've got stuff going on in that right shoulder, you might feel it. Now I want you to just do a tiny little rock, east and west. Now, as you're rocking, I want you to bring your elbow up on top of that roller and see if you can roll into it, the head towards the arm, and then roll backwards to open up the chest, and then roll back into the arm, and then back into the chest. Now, the legs can be bent, and you can even roll a little more into the hip, and then back towards your back, opening up the chest. See if you can get your left shoulder blade to go down towards the roller, really opening it up. Roll right onto that shoulder blade, and then back and open it up. One more time. Now you're going to bring both knees back up. Find your center right where you started. And then you're going to drop knees to the left, and you're rocking towards the left shoulder blade. And then you move your body forward and back, up and down that mat, like north and south, massaging it. Just a small little movement. Hips stay on the floor, so you're just mostly bending and straightening and moving through your torso. And then you're going to rock backwards, and then as you rock forward to the left, like east and west, I should say, bring your elbow onto the roller, and then when you roll back, try to bring your right shoulder blade, each time getting a little further forward and back. So we're not really going into the armpit here, we're going into the back of the arm, staying up on that shoulder. So a little different today on this one. Forward and back. Trying to increase your range of motion, opening it up. Let's do 2 more of these. We're supporting our head in our hands. And then come all the way back. Excellent. Bring the knees up. Let's try rolling our back one more time. This time what you're going to do is you're going to draw your fingertips behind your head, draw your elbows in, slightly tuck your chin. You might be able to get a little closer to those muscles, a little deeper into the muscles along the spine. And then open up those arms again and bring your hips to the floor. Slowly roll yourself up and wrap your arms around the knees and tuck your chin into your chest and stretch. Take a breath in. Slowly let it out. Release the arms. Big shoulder rolls. Up, back, and down. Let's straighten out those legs. Lift those hips nice and tall. Excellent. I want you to bring both fingertips towards your back side, but place them on the floor, opening up that chest, pressing into the palms, looking up. Now bring your chin down and look to your left. And then bring your chin to center and look to the other side. And then bring your chin center. Take a deep breath. Reach your arms all the way up. And then exhale, forward fold. Rock your body side to side. So if you can't reach your feet, that's all right. Just let your arms rest next to you and rock side to side. And as you're rocking, maybe do a little shift through the hips and reach for those feet. Check in with those hamstrings. Now you're going to walk your hands all the way back up. We're going to bring that roller down by your feet. You're going to place your left ankle on top of the roller, sit up tall, and just let your right knee fall open. Knee is soft. I want you to reach for the roller. Reach for that roller. Move that foot. Now, as you're reaching for the roller, your hands are on either side of your ankle. Take your right hand. If your left leg's on it, you're taking your right hand. I want you to reach your right hand to the outside edge of your ankle or to the outside onto the roller and gently pull down. So you're getting a little deeper into not only the hamstring, but the upper back and lower back of the right side. Just breathe here. Maybe wiggle those feet, those toes. Adjust the roller if you need to. Melt a little deeper into it. And then slowly release. Come all the way up. Excellent. Straighten out your right leg and bend your left and just let it fall open. Lift through that spine, rotate the ankle. Now walk your fingers forward and hold on to that roller. Just move the feet a little bit. Start to melt your body towards your knee. We're going to add a little bit here. So I want you to take your left hand this time and bring it to the outside edge of your ankle or the roller and melt towards your knee. Breathe. Notice the difference. Maybe where do you feel it more on this side? Is it more hamstring, more back, more upper back, more lower back? Stretch in the hip. And remember, when you're stretching and holding these stretches, this is the tissue hydrating. And then we roll ourselves all the way up and release. Excellent. Now we're going to bring the bottoms of the feet together and hold on to the toes and just sit up nice and tall and then flap those knees up and down. So we did the inner thighs. Got all the muscles, so all the upper leg area, we worked on it because it attaches to the hips and including the glutes. We're going to hold on to the ankles and we're going to start to draw big circles with the upper body. Big, big circles. One more circle and then we're going to change direction. Shift to the other way, One more circle. And then we're going to sit up nice and tall, pull the elbows down and back into the rib cage and then start to lean and hinge forward. Maybe you take your elbows out and press into those inner thighs. You can always reach for the toes and bring your head down. Again, massaging like by moving gently with the shoulders. No tension there. Move your arms to where you want them, maybe pushing a little bit more onto the legs. Try not to crank up on your toes though. If you want to get a little more, here's a little secret. Take your thumbs, place them on the balls of your feet, and then bring your hands to the tops of your feet, and then just open your feet like a book. And your hips will open a little more, and you can lean into it. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, lift your body all the way up. Hug those knees in, nice and tall. Excellent. So we want to do one more. We want to stretch out those quadriceps and a little extra because we've been working, again, we did a little extra there. So we're going to lay down on our backs, all the way on the back. And I want you to take your right leg all the way up, circle it around, hold on to it wherever you can, maybe hamstring, maybe calf, and straighten out the left leg. So right now we're doing hamstrings, but we're going to get to quads in a moment. And then I want you to bend the knees and shift the legs. Hug the left knee, straighten it to the sky, and the right leg straighten to the floor. Rotate the ankles, relax the shoulders. And then go ahead and bend both knees. Place both feet flat on the floor. Reach for your ankles, and we're going to take a stretch through the hips, lifting to a bridge. And then all the way back down. Now grab hold of your roller. Let's bring it underneath the knees close to the hips, and you're going to lift on, up to your hips and roll the roller underneath your back or hips. So I said we want to stretch not just the, the quads, but all the way up into that hip flexor. It's all attached. So make sure it's supporting you on the low back, the hip. We're going to hug the right knee into the chest. Always hold the knee in first, okay? That's important before you stretch the other one. The main goal here is protecting that low back. So you always keep a knee into the chest, then you can straighten out your left leg. So feeling that nice stretch there. Pulling the toe up. Now you're going to bend your left knee, release your right, hug your left knee. So we're just switching sides here. Support the knee and the back first, and then straighten out that right leg. And breathe. Stretching everything out. Notice where the foot's pointing. The heel is on the floor. And we're going to bend the right knee. So we're not doing too long a stretch. And then bring that left foot to the floor. Lift your hips off the roller. Roll it out from under the hips. Let's hug the knees into the chest and give it a rock side to side. Go ahead and roll the roller out from underneath you. Lift yourselves all the way back up. Feet. The roller is, go ahead and bring it out from underneath you. We're going to flip onto all fours. So bringing your hands and knees here. You can have your hands on the roller if you would like. A couple cat-cows, or you can bring the roller underneath you and get a little more range of motion. Stretching out through the back, pushing through the tops of the feet. Really stretching, opening and closing. Cat-cow. Now there's two options here for your final quad stretch. Now you can stay here and you can extend the arm and the leg. You can bend the knee, reach for your foot, kick your foot into your hand, and really stretch through the knee, the quad, everything. So this is one option. I'm going to show you the other in a moment, and we'll all do it together. You can use a belt or a strap if you have it for this one, and then we're going to release, and let's try the other side. So lengthen, reach the left arm back, grab hold of the right foot, kick your foot into the hand, and open it up. stretching things out. Now you're going to release. Go ahead and slide your roller out of the way. Come to your belly, all the way down. Bring your hand under your chin, and let's stretch that quad. So you're going to reach back, grab hold of your right foot, and pull the heel to your glute. So you might feel a little bit of an intense stretch here. Try to relax everything. Bring your knees closer together. All right, and then go ahead and release that leg. Let's switch legs. Go ahead and bring the other arm under the chin, supporting your neck. Reach and bend that left knee. Reach the foot towards the glute. Your hand holding on to that foot. Try to breathe and relax here. Noticing the difference on the two quads. One side might be tighter down by the knee. One side might be tighter up by the hip. Just notice that. So you can practice stretching and getting that tissue to lengthen, hydrate. Go ahead and release the leg. Let's take a child's pose. Go ahead and release all the way back. Separate your knees, feet together. Slide it back. Stretching through the armpits. Pushing the fingertips into the mat. Deep breath in. And then out. And then come all the way back up. Go ahead and have a seat. Sit nice and tall. You can cross your legs however you feel good to do. I want you to relax your shoulders. Think about your ears over the shoulders, shoulders over hips. You've done a great job today. Hopefully you feel hydrated in all that tissue. Take a deep breath. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, palms to heart space. Thank your body for all it's done for you today. Namaste.